Kicks off tonight. New Orleans Saints visiting the LA Rams. This is Thursday Night Football. This is your pregame show. Let's get it. Yes. Welcome into the Dynasty Gambit on the Going for Two Network. Bye weeks are over. Finally. Oh, wait, that was last week, right? We didn't have any bye weeks last week either, did we?
Nope.
No, okay. I forgot to take that one off. It is the fantasy football playoffs. Week 2 of the fantasy football playoffs for the ones that are lucky enough to have survived week 1. Crazy injuries all over the place. I am your host, Gator J. As always, you can find me at FantasyJ77 over there on Twitter. With me, as always, Steven at Target Shares over there on Twitter. Listen, I did not. 30 some odd leagues, 6 of them, I made the playoffs.
Oof.
Not good.
Wait, so 6 are still in? I think you made more.
No. 6 made the playoffs. Let me finish. 6 made the playoffs. And 3 are still in.
Oh, man.
It's not good. Not good, Bob. Holla. Bonjour, Jamie. No, but listen, I will tell you this. The 3 that I have left, one of them I got on, the first round bye.
Mm-hmm.
The other 2 I smashed in the first round.
Nice.
So I'm feeling good about those. Yeah, I'm feeling good about them. I'm hoping I get at least 1-2 titles this year.
That'd be nice.
How are you looking in yours?
Pretty good. So I'm in a lot less leagues than you are. I'm only in 7, but I'm in 5 still, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Your ratio is way better than mine right now.
I got knocked out of Scott Fishbowl last week, which sucks, obviously. But I mean, I'm curious what you think about this. I wasn't even close to the cut line. I have Dak, who did nothing. Eckler did nothing.
Who?
Yes. Fields did nothing. ETN did nothing. Curious what you think. Or would you rather get completely blown out, or rather than a close loss? Yeah, it wasn't a sweat.
Yeah. I hate, and not just in Scott Fishbowl because, I don't even know what playoffs smell like in Scott Fishbowl because I've been so far away. To be honest, I just had I thought I had a great draft. I think I had a great draft in Scott Fishbowl. It just didn't work out. Anthony Richardson, of course, Jonathan Taylor going, not playing the first couple weeks. So it hurts you. It really limits your upside, I guess, when it comes to especially those types of tournaments when you've got so many players. But no, I would truly just blow me out because I'm old. So I usually do not get to stay up for all of Monday Night Football, right? So usually it's like that.
I don't want to wait.
That halftime through third quarter, somewhere in that range, I'm dozing.
Yeah.
And I might wake up at 3 a.m. and see the score. I don't want to do that and go, oh my God. Oh, I missed it by a
point. I
don't want to do that. I don't want that. We got a few in the chat. Jamie is in here. He is still alive in 10 playoffs.
Nice.
I like that, Jamie. Good job, my guy. All right, Josh, Rotonauts, our guy that shows up tomorrow night. I think it's tomorrow night. Or is it? No, Saturday night. Saturday night for the Saturday Night 5, saying, what's up? Jamie saying, you'll win all 3. I got faith, Gator. I appreciate you. Let's go get some rings, baby. Let's go get some rings. Josh is saying he is still alive in, lost the, there it is. Still alive in 8 of 12. Nice. Love that. Jamie is, Jamie and I lost to a team with no QB. Josh, you're going to have to explain. I mean, please explain that. So I'm assuming that Josh and Jamie are they co-managing this team, or is it even worse? They both have a team that they played somebody, and neither one of those teams had QBs. Oh my Lord! I had a good draft in SMP 13. Yes, he did take Roshan number 1. And it worked out for 3 weeks. Yeah, but you know what? Listen, I will give Jamie a lot of credit for the Roshan pick, first round pick for him. Donated a bunch of money going to Fantasy Cares. So really, really good job, Jamie, by doing that. And he's saying, yeah, him and Josh sucked. And Josh is saying, yes, we co-manage a team.
That makes sense.
Well, Josh, there's your problem. You're co-managing with Jamie. We can fix that real easily over at goingfor2.com. It's real simple. We kick Jamie out and we move Steven in.
Yeah.
Just throwing ideas out there. Go shoot at the wall, see what sticks. Listen, Steve, it is Thursday Night Football, but before we get into the game, let's talk stock up, stock down for week 16. I'm noticing a trend here. This guy was my guy last week. He is your guy this week. And I'm kind of liking it, even though I didn't like him to start with.
I think we'll see a trend with the stock down player, too. Similar story. He was my guy last week. I don't think he's your guy this week. But yeah, James Cook, stock up. I mean, hard not to say that he's had a stock up week after that week 15 performance. 179 rushing yards, 42 receiving yards, and then 1 rushing score, 1 receiving score. The Bills opted to just establish the heck out of the run in this one. I mean, Cowboys pass defense top 5 in efficiency, run defense below average, partially due to this game. But so the Bills just attacked that. They had 7 completions in the entire game. 7. That's wild for a team that usually has one of the highest pass rates over expectation in the league. Really massive change there. They get the Chargers this week. The Chargers are just terrible on defense, pass defense, rush defense. You can do whatever you want against the Chargers, really. So I think they pass more. That hurts Cook's volume on the ground this week, but it doesn't really matter. He's getting a ton of receptions recently. Ever since Joe Brady took over as offensive coordinator, he's not running more routes. He's just getting the ball more often. So you wonder if that's part of the strategy there. Thought interesting stat of his 25 carries last week. Guess how many of those carries he was hit at or behind the line of scrimmage?
It was low. It was super low because he was getting like 3 to 4 yards before contact.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was 1.
Was it? Oh,
1.
Wow. Okay. I would have guessed a little bit higher than that.
Yeah.
But 1, that's insane.
Wild. So the Bills offensive line is blocking well for him. He's got explosion through the line. I mean, he's looking like a league winner. He's running really well. He's getting the receptions. It's just looking great. So yeah, James Cook.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said about him last week, and it still resonates. It still remains. You bring it up. What they're doing and how they're getting him involved.
Yeah.
Not just on the ground, not just in the air, both ways.
Yep.
And he's not just producing for NFL. He's producing high-end fantasy RB1 numbers.
Yep.
And that's exactly what we want to see. Yeah, definitely looking like what could be a league winner.
Yep.
My stock up this week, Joe Flacco. And I know Jamie's going to love this. Being a Browns fan, when you look at his ECR this week, is QB 18. I think it should actually be a little bit higher, right? But
I would agree there. Yeah.
Since week 13, most pass attempts, 3rd most pass completions, 2nd most passing yards, 4th most passing TDs, and the 8th highest points per game on average for quarterbacks. He's been QB 13, QB 10, QB 9 in that time frame. The only thing that's going to hold him back this week is if CJ Stroud and Nico Collins both do not play. And it's looking likely like they will not play. Yeah. In that case, it's going to be Case Keenum. That's going to suck for fantasy. I still think he holds value at the QB2. It's definitely in a super flex area. Still going to see that 17 to 20 point range, in my opinion. But it's just that it's not that QB 10, QB 11 area. I think it's going to be more towards that QB 13. But again, QB 18 for ECR, I think that's a little low going up against a Houston team that, of course, also is missing or will probably be missing on the defensive side of the ball, Will Anderson. Yep. Right? They're still going to get pressure with Greenlaw, what's his name? And now it's off my head. Anyway, they're still going to get some pressure on him, but it's not going to be Will Anderson. They're going to be able to run the ball a little bit more, I think, and it's not going to be 40 some odd passes. which is what it has been over the last few weeks when they're trying to keep up with the likes of the Rams, the Jaguars, and the Bears, which pushed them last week.
Yeah, one thing I really appreciate about Joe Flacco recently is the interceptions, because I've been betting the overs on all of his picks, and he delivers each and every week, which I appreciate. But he's, like you said, he's throwing the ball a ton, and he's throwing the ball down the field, which is something that is kind of rare to see anymore in the NFL.
Yeah,
it's hard to find that. And yeah, he's willing to do it.
Here's something else that's rare to see, especially in today's NFL. 3 interceptions last week he threw. After that third interception, over 300 yards passing.
Yeah.
He just kept throwing and kept throwing and kept throwing. and Kevin Stefanski was just like, just keep throwing. Do it again. It's okay.
See. With the Browns, I think they have like the 3rd highest neutral pass rate since he took over. They've really, kind of changed strategy there. They've just been throwing bombs and throwing all over the yard.
And it's not always Amari Cooper.
Yeah. Or it could be Elijah Moore.
It could be Elijah Moore.
But it could be Njoku.
Could be Cedric Tillman.
Yeah.
It could be Njoku.
Yeah.
Who was the one Jamie brought up last night on the holiday special?
Marquise Goodwin.
Yeah, Marquise Goodwin. Yeah. I was like, oh my goodness. Yeah, that's right. He did catch a pass last week. They're making up for missing out on Nick Chubb right now.
Yep.
Somehow, some way. Did you know, and this is a crazy stat, I know probably Jamie knows this, 23% of their salary cap is on the IR.
Yeah, I guess a lot of that would be Watson, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, between Watson and Chubb, but I mean, still, it's a quarter of their salary is on IR.
It's crazy. Is that the highest in the league? It's got to be up there.
I don't know. They're the highest in the league in starting quarterbacks right now. They got 4 of them, or they've started 4 of them rather.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane. Jamie in the chat saying that Roshan pick for the SFB 13. He raised over $200 for that. So great job there. Yes, Jamie, I did miss y'all last night. I saw the replay. It was a fun show. I love the fact that you and somebody brought this up today. I want to say it was Doc that people were hanging out so long for the show. At the end of the show, you finally got a tight end question. Love that.
Like starts the question like 2 hours in. I was like,
that was awesome. Flacco is the GOAT. He's better than Brady. Slow down, Jamie. Don't get out over your skis here. Don't get out over your skis. As at 23%, but I thought it was 26, but whatever it is, it's still a crazy number, and it's still it's
like a quarter of
your damn salaries on your IR. Absolutely insane. Let's talk about stock down. I'll let you lead this one off.
Yeah, it's Dameon Pierce. He's been just completely phased out of the Texans offense. Completely. He's not really even getting anything anymore. And that's something I really didn't expect coming into the season, at least personally. And honestly, it feels like the right decision for the Texans based on how he's playing. So I'm going to show a graph a little bit later, and Pierce doesn't qualify for it. He doesn't have enough carries, but he's bottom 2 in the league in rushing yards over expected. He's bottom 6 in success rate. It's been bad. Singletary's, not been amazing, but he's been okay. He's been better than those numbers. It's kind of interesting. Like as recently as 2 weeks ago, Pierce had a ton of volume, and in the last 2 weeks, he's combined for a total of 5 attempts. So he's just not getting anything anymore. It feels pretty clear that it's the Singletary show moving forward.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I forgot to download the graph. So I'm doing that as we're talking here. So if it takes me a second to pull it up when it's time, that's why. It's my own fault. So I will get that taken care of right now.
Your stock down player is
I am
last week. I
am. Well, I am stock down right now as far as I'm concerned with that bamboozled crap I just pulled. My stock down this week, Austin Eckler. I am really worried right now that we have seen the best that we're going to see of Eckler in LA at least.
Yeah.
After three straight weeks coming, he had the injury. He had a great week 1, had the injury, was out for a few weeks. They had their bye week. He comes back. He has 3 straight weeks of RB1 numbers, RB6, RB4, RB4. And then we all got sucked right back into Austin Eckler is going to be so valuable. We drafted him right where we should have drafted him. You know, he's so good. He gives us those 3 weeks of nothing. RB3 at best, RB31, RB31, RB34, not even flex worthy.
Yeah.
Ouch. Oh, but wait, there's 2 weeks ago. Just to give you a little straw with a nice little vodka drink, you know, little cranberry, whatever your favorite drink is, stick the straw in. He's going to suck you right back in. He gives you an overall RB 8 week against Denver.
Like, nice.
And we were like, oh, yes, he's back. We completely blanked on, oh, yeah, it was Denver.
Literally the worst team. Well, I mean, I don't know. Carolina is pretty bad against the ground now, too. But yeah, one of.
Yeah, I know. And then he turns around last week and gives us RB35.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. And now he gets the Bills. The desperate, absolutely clawing. And nobody wants to face the Bills right now.
I would not.
Yeah.
They're one of the best two teams in the league right now.
They might be the best team with the desperation that they have. It is insane. Nobody wants to face them right now. I have to say, okay, as the president of the 80s, Ronald Reagan's wife, Nancy Reagan, said, just say no. I am just saying no to Austin Eckler. No more. I am done with Austin Eckler. What you say?
You don't want to just say no. Yeah, agreed. I think it's unfortunate because his highs were so high in previous seasons that the fall now feels a lot more. But he's an aging running back, you know, and Dynasty pretty tough with running backs of that age. And so I agree. I think we've seen the best. I think that's not going out on a limb, but it's been particularly bad here recently.
Hurtful.
Yeah,
hurtful feelings. You know, I drafted him like number 3 overall in a league, which is probably why that league is not in the playoffs.
Second rounder in Scott Fishbowl, and then I'm out. So, yeah.
Let's talk about tonight's game. Tonight we have the Saints at the Rams. Rams favored by 4, over under of 45. The only true injured player that we have, and it's only questionable at this point, as far as most fantasy leagues are concerned, and that's Kendre Miller.
Actually, I think he just got ruled out.
He's out.
He's inactive. Yeah.
Okay, so that there is the update there. He is out. So, and that's fine. I don't know that in this game we were necessarily reaching to go and grab him with no buys, so that you should, at least in playoff form, you should have somebody more viable than Kendre Miller. But if you don't, make sure he is not in your lineup.
Yep.
Get over to this window here. And, Steven, let's talk about your news and your notes for tonight.
Yeah, so we're looking at running backs tonight. So all the data is from Next Gen Stats. I really like all of their stuff. What you're looking at, so the x-axis, that's rushing yards over expected. Basically what that means is you take the situation, down, distance, number of defenders in the box, stuff like that. And Next Gen Stats gives an expectation for how many yards the running back will get in that spot. And if the running back runs for more, then it's a plus. And if they run for less, then obviously it's a negative. So you want to be to the right of the graph. And then the y-axis there is their version of success rate. Basically, it's like, what percentage of your carries do you run for more than the expectation? And you want that number to be high, so you want to be at the top of the graph. So ideally, you're where Christian McCaffrey is. You're in the top right. You've been very successful in getting yards over expectation, and you've been doing it really consistently. Why I'm bringing this up tonight is mostly for Alvin Kamara. So this surprised me when I looked at it. Alvin Kamara is deep in the bottom left, pretty much the area you desperately don't want to be in. He's been with at least 160 attempts. I think that's where I said it, just to get both him and Kyron in. He's been, I think, worst in the league in rushing yards over expected. He's bottom 2 in success rate on the season. So it's been a rough season on the ground for him. And he was pretty average in rushing yards over expected last year. So it's a pretty sharp drop compared to last year. I'm curious what you think, Gator. Like, I necessarily haven't seen a lot of like lack of explosion in his running game. Not to say that I've watched a ton of Saints game this year, but like, what do you think of his ability at this age? Is he going down this like Austin Eckler career path, or does he still have some juice?
Well, I only had one share of him in amongst all of the leagues that I had, and I believe it was prior to last season. It's either prior to last season or prior to this season. I went ahead and traded him away.
Yeah.
I felt like I honestly, going through this year, knowing that he was, out for the first 3 games this year, when he came back, I felt like, dang it, maybe I got out a year earlier than I should have. Maybe I should have held on one more year. And I think the reason I felt that way was because of the passing that he was getting. It wasn't necessarily what he was getting on the ground. The other side of that is he doesn't have Drew Brees anymore.
Yeah.
Right. He's got Derek Carr or Jameis Winston or Jason, whatever his name is, Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
He doesn't have Sean Payton anymore. I think there is something to be said when you have a player of that caliber, especially a running back, that is, got beat up. And when I say got beat up, just got hit as much as he was getting hit, because the usage was so good, so high for fantasy that now I'm not going to say that it's wearing him down, but at 28 years old,
yeah,
he's been used up. And is he on the same career path? I mean, you have to. I'm guessing. I'm going to say yes. I'm guessing. I'm going to say,
because the volume's still been pretty good. I mean, at like a pretty,
But here's
strong.
the difference, though, is the volume's there, but because it's in the passing game.
Yeah.
Right. Austin Eckler, awesome, also awesome in the passing game.
Yep.
Just the volume's not there right now.
Yeah. Just to bring up Kyron quickly too. So Kyron's in the top right. He's having a really great season. I don't think anyone's surprised by that. It didn't surprise me to see that he's doing really well in some of the advanced stats. But yeah, Kyron looking really good.
There's a player there that you're sitting there and looking at, and he's getting usage, but it's spread out. Right? He's only 23 years old too, so
yep.
He's missed 5 games this season, something like that. But he's also very rarely is he getting above 80% or 85% of the snap share.
Is that right? I feel like maybe snap share could be right. I feel like his volume's been elite, at least in the games I looked at. It's pretty.
He's only got out of the 8 games he's played, he's only got 4 of them that he's had a 90% snap share or more.
Wow.
So take that for what it's worth with the Rams. I mean, you look back at the very beginning of the year, two of the 6 games that he played at the very beginning of the year, he had 95 and 100% snap share. That was with a Cam Akers there.
Yeah. And they get Ronnie Rivers back. I don't know if that does anything, but he's actually.
I mean, Josh Kelly.
Yeah.
How you doing?
So, but yeah, I thought it was just surprising by Kamara. I didn't expect the numbers to be as bad as they were.
No, I had to look them up as you brought those up. So I'm like, there's no way that's correct. And I am surprised there's not been a single game this year that he's gone rushing. He's gone over 80 yards. He's hit 80 one time.
Yeah, you would expect more than that, especially given the volume that he's still getting. He's still getting some on the ground too. So, yeah.
And he's not getting, crazy yards in the air. He's got one game that he's got 91, but nothing. Only 2 games where he's gone over 50 yards receiving.
Yeah.
So it's nothing crazy that he's getting in the air, but it's the amount of targets that he's getting and the receptions that he's getting. But yeah, so I would say yes, he's on that Austin Eckler path. I mean,
you can see into the future of next year where
if you're in a dynasty league, you're trying to get out of him now. Yeah. If you haven't already.
True for all 28-year-old running backs, I guess. But, he's especially ones where he's starting to see a little bit of a decline, which I think you can start seeing that trend with him looking at the advanced stats relative to last year. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Who we got that you're keeping an eye on from the Let's see which way we want to go. We've talked about the Saints for just a minute. Let's talk about the Rams. Who's a player you want to watch from the Rams tonight?
So this is incredibly selfish. I have both Kupp and Olave in my home league that I'm trying to win tonight. So I promise you the two players I'm focused on tonight will be Kupp and Olave. One thing that I really like about Kupp recently is that, one, he just looks like the healthiest he's been in a bit. And two, it seems like he's kind of taken back that wide receiver one role in the Rams offense over the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
His target share has been higher than Puka. His first read target share has been higher than Puka over the last couple of weeks. I think it's just a lot of positive signs for Kupp here. I'm really hoping obviously for my home league, I'm really hoping for a massive game from him. But yeah, I'll be watching Kupp, especially to see if that trend that we've seen over the past 2 weeks or so continues, where it looks like he's the guy. And then Puka's still obviously heavily involved, but just not quite as much as Kupp.
Yeah, I'm not sure this particular player that I'm going to bring up for the Rams is not necessarily fantasy relevant as of right now for him, but it's fantasy relevant for what he can take away from Kupp, or what he can take away from Puka more likely is, and that's Demarcus Robinson. I mean, how he's getting on the field last 2 weeks, 86% snap share, 95% last week. He's seeing 10 targets 1 week, only 3 last week, but he did get in the end zone. He's gotten in the end zone the last 3 weeks.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
really, he's got three straight
touchdowns. Three straight weeks of a touchdown against Cleveland, Baltimore, and Washington. So what that is doing is taking away that particular touchdown or that particular reception from one of these other guys. And it's interesting because he's probably sitting out there. He's 13% rostered, right, in sleepers. So he's probably not on your playoff roster, which means if you have Puka or if you have Kupp, he's taking away from them.
Yep.
And that is something that I'm going to keep an eye on tonight. How much are they going to use him going forward? Look, a couple weeks ago, we're sitting there going, what is this passing offense?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It just looked weird to me. It was just like, they've got Kupp, they've got Puka. They don't have a running game. It's all, this was before Kyron come back. They don't have a running game.
Yep.
And now they got the running game too. Well, as soon as Kyron comes back, boom, it's a running game. Okay, Now what's happening with the offense as far as the passing game?
Stafford's looked good, at least the last couple of weeks. I think he's in the top 10 easily. I think in passer rating, yards per attempt, touchdown rate, stuff like that. He's recently, I believe again in this Rams passing offense. But yeah, Stafford's looked really good. You wonder. The Saints defense is no pushover. You curious to see what that looks like tonight. But Stafford's actually looked really good. So I'm optimistic for the Rams.
Yeah, I have it. The question is, what player do you want to see from each, or keep an eye on from each team tonight? And I'm going with who you just brought up there, and it's not necessarily a player, but it's the defense for the Saints. I really, really, really want to see if this Saints defense can replicate what they've done. Not replicate by the exact number, what they've done the last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
they only allowed 6 points the last 2 weeks in both week 14 and 15. Now, yes, I know it was against Carolina, and I know it was against the Giants, and yes, I know both of those games were at home. Can they keep Stafford off the field? How do they keep Stafford off the field? You run the ball. We just talked about not being able to run the ball with Kamara consistently for chunk yardage or anything like that. But since the Rams came off of their bye week in week 10, Stafford has averaged 35 pass attempts per game.
Yep.
Like you just brought up, they have started to throw the ball a lot more.
And they look good doing it. Yeah.
And he doesn't turn the ball over a ton,
yep.
Right? In my opinion, if the Saints are going to stay in this game and possibly even have a chance to win this game, they have to keep their offense on the field and keep Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, and Demarcus Robinson on that sideline. And I know that's easier said than done. And I know it's cliche that that's what they have to do to win the game. Absolutely. That, yes, I get all of that. But the only way they're going to be able to do it, listen, They both play in domes. They both play on this turf. It's not like this turf is, going from grass to an artificial surface, anything like that. There is no advantage to the home team because it's on turf or it's on grass. There's not. Stay on the field. If that means check the ball down, if that means run the ball a little bit more, if that means let Taysom Hill run 5 times. If that's what that means, do that.
Yep.
Here's the other thing of this for me, and this becomes personal because, as you see, I am a Bucs fan.
Right.
I need the Rams tonight to just go ahead and just beat down the Saints. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Saints play this game, and it's a tight game.
Got it. So I actually think the Rams win, and I think they win by more than 4. I believe my faith is back in the Rams passing offense. But to your point, I mean, the Saints defense is really good. They're top 8 in defensive efficiency for both against the pass and the run on the season. So really good defense from the Saints. But and also to your point, on the season, they've leaned run heavy. Mm-hmm. They've had a, I think like negative 2.5% pass rate over expectation. And they've been really consistent with it too. The Rams, surprisingly, have also leaned run heavy when you look at the entire season, not just recently, but it's had a lot of variation where they've had a couple weeks where the pass rate has spiked a ton. Some of that was earlier in the season, but yeah, both teams generally lean run heavy. The Saints are consistent with it, and then the Rams can vary on the pass rate. So I think the Saints, that's what they want to do. They want to run the ball. They want to run it consistently, and they want to rely on their defense.
Who is I already know who it is. It's Olave.
It's Olave. Yeah, I really am hoping for a big Olave game. It feels like you can look at all of the numbers for Olave, and then you look at what his actual production is, and you scratch your head. You're like, why isn't he a wide receiver 1? He's putting up low-end wide receiver 2 stats, but he's got really good target share, air yard share. I think he leads the league in deep targets on the season. And he's getting a lot of red zone looks. And so you just add all of that up. You're like, this guy's a wide receiver 1. Plus he's talented. And then you look at the end result, and it's like wide receiver 22. I just think eventually you're going to see a spike game from him, and I really could use it tonight. That would be awesome. I think you could, like the peripherals are there. You just want the production to actually match that, and hoping maybe tonight we get it.
Yeah, I am still concerned with Olave. My concern is no practice last week before the Giants game. Right. And then there's been no practice this week. He's done 2 walkthroughs.
Great. Yeah.
What's the timing going to be like? Because we know there's it's already bad. It's already Derek Carr, and there's no other receiver, A.T. Perry, whatever, but it's just that's what concerns me with the Saints right now is the passing game. And again, like I brought up a minute ago, if they're going to win this game, they're going to have to pass the ball, of course, but they're going to need to rely on the run a little bit more, at least I think. But they're in the passing game, it cannot be 5-yard outs, 10-yard slants, and incompletions.
Yeah.
That's not going to do it either. But I do believe Olave's got to be involved early and often.
Every deep shot to Olave that I've seen this season ends with Derek Carr shaking his head and looking angry for some reason. And then Olave looking around being like, why are you mad?
Do you think, when you look at Olave last year, ironically, through 15 games last year, 119 targets, 72 receptions, 1,042 yards, 4 touchdowns. You ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you sitting down?
I'm sitting.
Sitting down. Through 13 games this year, 116 targets, 72 receptions, 918 yards, 4 touchdowns. I mean, basically the identical numbers.
Yeah.
You know what they're doing different this year that they didn't do last year? The deep shots.
Yeah.
I think they are using Olave the wrong way.
Yeah. Agreed. Like, stop setting him on just go routes.
Why are we taking one of the, I'm not going to say the greatest receivers, but one of the best young receivers right now in the game? Yes, I understand Derek Carr has a cannon. I understand Jameis Winston has a cannon. but they can also throw 7 routes and 5-yard crosses and let him get some yak.
Imagine if Olave gets Tank Dell's routes. What we would see. I think he'd be great.
I mean, go ahead and give him CJ Stroud while you're at it.
Yeah, I would help. I would take that too. But at least, I don't know. Or at least start being a little bit more consistent on those deep routes, because it just seems like every single one that I've seen is just like both of them shaking their head at the end of it, being like, the communication doesn't seem to be there. It doesn't seem like anyone likes Derek Carr in that locker room. Maybe that's part of the problem too. But yeah.
Well, I mean, when you get the amount of money he got, and then whatever, it is what it is. Selfishly, I hope it all implodes in their face for it, but I don't like it for Olave at all. And I don't think they're getting they don't have the other wide receivers out there. I mean, A.T. Perry, Rashid Shaheed, those guys are trying. But Michael Thomas injured yet again.
Yeah.
Surprised?
No.
Because I'm not.
I don't think anyone.
This is crazy as it is. Well, we whipped right through this. And I'm not mad about it. We got a lot of information out there, but the one thing we haven't done yet that we got to do. You know what time it is? It is time for the Chrome Dome.
I gotten a little bit closer this week with the haircut. It's not quite Chrome Dome, but I cut all the hair off. So I think my Chrome Dome pick will be better because of it, getting closer.
Well, I will let you lead off with your Chrome Dome then.
So 2 of them I've been feeling more confident about since I took the bet, and one of them I've been feeling less confident about. I'll start with the less confident one. The money has been pushing the other direction, but I took Alvin Kamara under 4.5 receptions. He's been doing better than that recently. Just the modeling I do liked the under 4.5, liked it closer to maybe 3.5. So, like I said, the money, I think it's minus 144 on the over. So feeling less confident. That wasn't the case when I took the bet. I think it was actually the other way. It was like minus 120 on the under. So the money's been pushing towards the Kamara receptions. But still, Kamara under 4.5. Kyren Williams under 91.5. I think that's moved down a couple yards since I took it. It's just a big number. Kyron's been playing great, but 91.5, pretty high rushing yard number,
especially going up against that D.
Yeah, so I just thought that was a pretty big number. And then A.T. Perry over 13.5 receiving yards. He's been consistently exceeding that on a pretty low number of targets. Kind of have to get a little bit lucky. Hopefully he catches his 1 or 2 receptions that he'll get tonight. But if he can I think he can clear 13.5 on 1 reception, honestly. But if he gets 2, it's an easy smash. So, those are my 3.
Yeah, Kyren Williams' number just went down to 87.5.
Wow, they dropped like 4 yards since I got it. So, like the under on.
I mean, you'd like it better now at 91.
But exactly.
Yeah, so the only one that you and I have the same is the A.T. Perry.
I saw that a little bit of A.T. Perry love tonight. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it just the number just makes so much sense.
Yeah.
To be quite honest, I do like the Kamara over 88.5 rushing and receiving combined. So I took that as well. As bad as it is that I think the way they use Olave, not playing last week, I think he's ready to get back in and play. I taking an Olave anytime touchdown.
I love it. I mean, I really would love him to score a touchdown tonight. Please, Olave.
Now, here's one that may surprise you. And the reason I took this is just because of what it did to the number for a DraftKings. Tutu Atwell, anytime touchdown.
When I saw that, I was surprised. I hope you got good. It seems like you did.
Oh, yeah. It went to,
it
jumped it from like, I want to say it was like 13, but plus 13, 1400, somewhere in that range, all the way up to a plus 3,400.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I did like that. Of course, they had the other anytime touchdowns as well on there. But those are the listen, Tutu can do that. All of these, truly and honestly, I think this can happen. Outside of the Kamara one, the Olave anytime touchdown, the A.T. Perry at 13.5 receiving, Tutu Atwell anytime touchdown. Those can all hit probably the first quarter, first half.
You just need one play.
Yeah. For any one of those. So I'm not really stressing them. I'm not gonna, sweat it as the kids like to say. I'm not gonna sweat it until the end of the game. That's not gonna work. I'm not gonna worry about it. Jamie says he took the under at 91.5 on
Nice.
Kyren as well.
Agreed.
He also took Shaheed over 31.5. Jamie, I love that.
I like the Shaheed play too.
That can be done again, like you said, in one play.
Yeah,
he's definitely a down the field guy.
What's been frustrating with Shaheed is that I like the player, and I guess I would have expected him to do more when Olave was out, but he didn't. I don't think he did that much when Olave wasn't in the game. Now, yeah, like you said, Shaheed can hit that on 2 receptions, pretty easily. He's a downfield threat, but kind of was hoping for more when Olave wasn't out there, and I feel like he didn't really deliver that much.
Well, it's kind of hard for him to be the only guy.
Yeah, sure. He's not. I mean, he's not a wide receiver 1.
Yeah, he's a second-year player, number 1. He's dealing with Derek Carr, who has also been nicked. So
he's got that rib injury, right?
Yeah. He had the shoulder, and now he's got a rib. And it's just like ugh. And then you have no other wide receivers out there with him. I mean, it's kind of easy. I mean, okay, who else do you have to guard? You just put one guy on him and call it a day. You can bracket him, whatever.
One thing that I looked up this week, because I usually keep track of this, is the player who is closest to the opponent's end zone when they get on the field. So get rid of any quarterbacks or just non-standard starters that when they get on the field, their team is closest to scoring a touchdown. Number 1 in that stat is Taysom Hill, which isn't, I don't think, a surprise for anyone who watches the Saints. But yeah, his average yard line when he gets on the field is the opponent's 38-yard line. So it's pretty clear how they're using him. When they get close, they're putting him in there. I think that is frustrating as a manager of other players on the Saints, because you start that kind of lowers the ceiling, the touchdown ceiling for Kamara, for Olave. If they're putting Taysom in there and they're giving him those kind of carries or receptions or even passes closer to the end zone, that lowers the ceiling for the other players there. Number 2 was my guy, Donald Parham, on that list. So again, not a surprise for either of them, but yeah, I thought it was interesting.
I thought it was interesting. I just had to make sure and double check this, but the Saints went and got him a running back this offseason. I would like to see, with what you just brought up, how Jamal Williams did last year in that stat. When was it that he was used the most often? I would think that he would be probably number 1 overall with the 17 touchdowns.
That would make sense. Yep.
But the reason I pulled him up is because of the 17 touchdowns. Take a stab at how many he has this year.
I know it's a lot less.
It's a lot less.
I'll say 3.
0.
Is really 0? Wow.
0.
My gut said 0, but I was like, it can't be 0. It's got to be a little bit more.
0, right?
Yeah.
Quite the culture.
I don't remember any Jamal Williams touchdowns, but he's got to have it.
Right.
Why did they bring him in then? If they're
you've heard the culture shock about New Orleans.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is, right?
17-0. Woof.
Yeah. Yes.
Woof.
Well, I'm glad he got 17 and got paid.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it just stinks. It stinks. It lowers the touchdown ceiling when they get close. They put Taysom in there. You're like, no, give the ball to Kamara if you have Kamara, or no, pass the ball to Olave. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've been saying that sort of thing for how many years now? When was the Patriots Seattle? When they didn't give it to Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
When was that Super Bowl? Because that was the start of just you give the damn ball to your playmakers or the guys that you're paying to do it.
2015. Wow, it's been a while.
It's 8 years. Woof. Anyway, so let's not on the show sheet. Who you taking tonight? What's your score?
Yeah, so I was surprised to hear that you think it'll be pretty close. I do think the Rams win. I think they cover the 4 points, and I think it goes over. Do you know what the current
45.
over? 45. So let me think. I think the Rams win by a touchdown, and I think it goes over. So I'll say 24. Let's do some math in my head here. That's not enough.
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't give you a chance. This is behind the scenes, everybody.
I'll say 28-20. 28-20 Rams.
I think it's going to be. I like the 28 number. but I think it's 31-28.
Oh wow! So you're taking the over as well.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm going over as well.
Yeah.
I just listen. I think there is an opportunity here for multiple passing touchdowns, and for both teams.
Well, that's you would get a pretty decent odds on that on Underdog right now. I think it was one of the boosts was Derek Carr over 1.5 passing touchdowns, if I remember correctly. So
I would take both of them, especially Stafford over 2. I haven't looked at Underdog. I need to do that here shortly. But I think at 31-28. So I think the Rams do win.
But you think it's a bit closer than?
But I think I think the Saints actually get inside that 4 point, and you can actually make some money tonight.
Yeah, Cup 4 touchdowns, Olave 2 touchdowns. It's a
touchdown for Cup, a touchdown for Puka,
2 for Kyron, probably. Based on his,
2. Well, I was going to say 2 for Demarcus Robinson, but maybe Kyron. 4 for Taysom Hill. That's how I'm seeing it.
It's very frustrating when they put him in there. You're like, oh my god, just like throw it to Olave.
Oh my Lord. Steven, tell the good people where they can find you and what you're working on.
Yeah, so I'm at Target Shares on Twitter. My last top 10 things to look at for the week article is out as of a couple hours ago on goingfor2.com. Lots of graphs if you like that kind of stuff. I'm looking at Jameson Williams. Look at his opportunities actually been going up. The production hasn't been there yet. You could see a big game for Jameson Williams potentially in the future here. So I looked at a couple different things there, but Target Shares on Twitter, and then my articles on Going for 2.
Yeah, I want to see. I have not read the article yet. I did see your highlight of Jameson Williams and also Zach Wilson. Was that? Yeah, that was the other.
Zach Wilson New Year's resolution to never talk about Zach Wilson again.
I knew there was something in it.
That's what it is.
I'm loving the fact that you brought it up. You are starting to see a little the trend for Jameson Williams is slowly creeping back up again as far as
led the team in air yards last week. So 113 air yards. You 7 targets. He didn't do much with it. But
didn't do much, but the opportunity is there, and that's what we asked for, right? We got to have opportunity in order to succeed. So, you guys can find me over at FantasyJ77 over there on Twitter. More importantly, go over to the goingfor2.com. Check out all of Steven's articles along with everybody else that got the start sits articles, the waiver wire articles. Steven's doing a bunch of different projects over there as well. While you're there at Going for 2, scroll all down. You'll see on the right-hand corner the Discord link. Click that Discord link. Join us over there in the Discord. Ask your start sits. All of that kind of good stuff there. And I mean, look, you'll have people like Jamie in there talking to you, giving you advice, and some of it is actually actionable. No,
I'd say a lot of it's actionable. Yeah, Jamie gives good advice.
Most of it's actionable. Jamie takes a lot of what he does with his leagues and tells you what he's going to, how he would do it. Jamie is very, very smart when it comes to that. So give Jamie a lot of credit. I appreciate Jamie joining us every single week in the chat. Like always, 85%. Only 85%.
It's pretty solid.
That's right now. I would take 85% with my leagues, to be quite honest, Jamie. My bad. But for Steven, for myself, we'll see y'all next week. We got a banger next week, right, Steve?
Jets Browns. It should be high scoring.
Listen, 30. What did I say earlier? 36-41.
Yeah, the Zach Wilson revenge.
You will talk about
That's Zach Wilson. Oh no, I will have to talk about Zach Wilson next week.
Yes. Yes. Your New Year's resolution is already busted.
Hopefully they put Tim Boyle in.
Oh no. We can't have Tim Boyle. Listen, maybe it's not busted yet because that's only the 28th.
Yeah. And then I can never talk about him ever again. So
unless
that's the dream.
Unless until next week. We'll see y'all.
Yeah.